Journey into Comics.
Poor entertainment, poor news.
Foodies watching movies.
Adulting 80s.
Podcast for the voice of survival.
Kids for sale. Gallif Radio.
Brews with Dudes.
Journey into Wrestling. Journey into Comics Network. JourneyIntoComics.com.
The following
is a Journey into Comics.
Journey into
It's a
Comics.
journey into
Is a
comics
Journey into Comics.
Journey into Comics.
Journey into Comics.
Network.
production.
Hey everyone, Andrew here from the Poor Rapport and Foodies Watching Movies, and you are listening to the Best of the Week show, the only place you can listen to the highlights across all the shows on the network this week. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show, and remember, don't believe fake news. The following
is a Journey into Comics.
Journey into
It's a
Comics.
journey into
Is a
comics
Journey into Comics.
Journey into Comics.
Journey into Comics.
Network.
Network.
production.
production.
And here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Journey into Comics. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Journey into Comics. I'm your host, Dick.
We are your host.
We are Podcastrophe. Like what I did there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I set you up for that
Yeah.
purposefully. I planned that out.
He knows what I'm doing.
The whole
he knows
fucking-
what we're.
I planned that out
doing.
the whole car ride over here.
Oh my god. We're excited.
We have had a good evening. We're both very tired.
Yeah.
We're sleepy boys.
I got up at 4 a.m. What time did you get up?
About 4:45, so not far behind.
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I've been doing this whole working out in the morning thing because we've been working 10 hours every day.
Mhm.
And if I work 10 hours and then I go to the gym, then I'm not home until 6:30.
And I would imagine you don't accomplish a whole lot while you're at the gym.
Actually, I do. I
See,
mean,
I didn't.
it didn't change. My motivation in the gym didn't change based off of it never changed based off of like how many hours I worked because it's just I enjoy working out. But going in the morning, I actually accomplish less because then I'm on a time limit. I have like an hour until I got to go to work. So
Is this a good look for me?
I can't say it is.
I work with a guy that legitimately always wears a hat, like most of us men do. But he will not have a hat on his head without the fucking hat covering his eyebrows. And
That's just.
a lot of times he'll fucking tuck his ears up into his hat.
Is this?
Like how fucking... It's Trailer Park Thanos, by the way.
Oh.
It's that guy.
Oh God.
It's the guy... It's Trailer Park Thanos.
Are you sure he's not like
Thanos?
some kind of cockroach alien that just like infested him and
He's
took
a cockroach alien
and-
wearing a meat suit.
yeah, wearing the meat suit like
We have evolved. We have transitioned from lizard people infiltrating our government to cockroach people wearing meat suits.
yeah,
That's where we're at now.
like Men in Black.
That's a new theory, folks.
Men in Black, they didn't invent that.
Got any sugar
wasn't
water?
that wasn't just entertainment.
More.
That was straight up like a prediction.
More.
Like that wasn't even a prediction. It was a warning.
More.
Yeah. Who played? I can't remember who played it. Who? I've asked this like several times.
We've talked about it on the show before.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking about it. I'm like, shit.
You ever like we are not off to a good start.
No.
As far as tangents go.
So, Journey into Comics, welcome to Podcastrophe.
Yeah, this is what we do. I now have the brim of my hat over my eyebrows. I legitimately can't really see.
He legitimately has his ears tucked into his
tucked
hat.
my ears up into my hat.
Oh,
Like,
my Jesus.
God, I look dumb.
Oh,
and
boy.
it's uncomfortable.
Oh, boy. Oh,
Oh,
jeez.
boy, pal. Wowzers.
Oh, jeez.
But, you ever, like throughout your day, like, especially, I've done
Give up on life?
Well, that. But, I did the job that you do for a year, so I totally, like, I've been you, okay? You ever just sit there, like, man,
It wasn't until you left that I finally gave up on the place.
Man, I miss the Men in Black TV show.
Oh man, I don't even remember. I remember it, so I can visually see it, but I don't remember.
Because the animation style was very distinct compared
It
to
was.
a lot of the other cartoons
It
on
really
TV.
was.
And it actually wasn't a bad show.
No, I don't remember it, but I remember it being good.
But it's really weird that we're talking about Men in Black at the beginning of this show because not 2 days ago, I was in the middle of an electrical panel, just, working away, and I legitimately paused, and I was like, man, I miss that fucking Men in Black TV show. Just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So I was in I call it the hot box, all by myself, listening to a podcast, not, the world around me is nothing. And that idea just pops into my brain. Man, I miss the Men in Black TV show. and this is what makes it even more sad. I looked up like I was going to say that to somebody, and there was no one there. I was all alone.
Oh man, I wish I could sit. I wish I could listen to podcasts and stuff while I work.
Oh yeah.
Like it's absolutely like in our area. Like there's no reason. There's no safety reason we shouldn't.
You know what
have.
it ultimately amounts to?
Huh?
Is
Control.
it's an inconvenience to management to
Yeah.
have to try and get in touch with you when you're not focused on your surroundings.
Yeah,
And it is a legitimate.
it is.
It is a legitimate safety concern.
for sure. Yeah,
For the most part.
Not arguing that.
Right. But, especially jobs like 15,
Yeah.
there's no reason you can't have fucking headphones in back there.
Absolutely.
But we don't need to talk about Subaru tonight.
Yeah. But no, what I was getting at is like I wish because there's a lot of times that I don't give a fuck about talking to people
Right.
while I'm at work. I mean, it's been mentioned on this show before. It's been mentioned on our show. I'm a
You
quiet
even
guy.
did it to me a couple times.
Yeah, I'm a quiet guy. If I'm not in the mood to talk, or you're not gonna give me a conversation I give a fuck about, I'm not. Yeah.
It's a skill not many people have, and you have mastered it.
Thank you.
You can 100% participate in a conversation and never say a word. Like, seriously. Like, through sheer force of will and subtle eyebrow movements, you can totally participate in a conversation and never fucking say a word. I've seen you do it hundreds of times. And it's awesome. Because me noticing that is times that I'm not saying anything. It's like, this guy's doing it. This guy's really doing it. And not many people can say that they can do that. So
I can't be quiet any longer.
hats off to you, sir.
For those listening, I was just staring at him, like engaging him with my eyebrows and eye contact.
But that's what you do. No shit. I mean,
Yeah, honestly.
there was many a day as I'm blabbering on through, the third 30-minute long sentence that is fucking coming out of my cake hole, and you're just, yeah. You might grunt every now and then, like, yeah. But
Yeah.
it's all eyebrows and fucking blinks, basically.
I'm a listener. I'm an active listener.
Yes.
And I've also found that, like, the getting into like my own personal self, I draw my energy from conversation, active conversation. And if that conversation is not engaging me in the right way, I get really tired.
And I think that I'm going to psychoanalyze you a little
It drains
bit.
me. It drains the fuck out of me.
I'm going to psychoanalyze you a little
Yeah.
bit. I think that amounts from the fact that at one point in your life you were a loser, which is, just stay with me here. Stay with me here. Much like a character in a movie that we saw tonight,
Yeah.
who him and his counterpart were both losers at one point. See what I
Yes.
did there?
I see what you did there.
That was a nice segue, wasn't it?
It sure was.
It was a stretch,
It was.
but I reached out there with my little stubby T-Rex arms and I grabbed that fucker.
What you're saying to me right now is you don't give a fuck. Let's move on to Venom.
Yes.
We saw Venom tonight.
I didn't bust out this badass Venom t-shirt that I got from Loot Crate today.
I wish I had anything Venom,
Yes.
but I'm really picky about like things I buy that with like Deadpool things, like Flash things, like Venom things that I don't own. Like I'm very picky about the designs. Like t-shirts, I'm especially picky about. Like they have to be like a certain style. There has to be like some sort of balance. Like if you look at all my t-shirts, you'll see it.
I'm very picky with my fabric.
Yeah,
Very, very picky.
I'm not picky about the fabric.
I don't like the extremely thin t-shirts.
I don't
But
mind.
at the
them.
same time, I also don't like the extremely thick t-shirts. I want a good balance in my t-shirt fabric. I don't like. I have a Deadpool t-shirt that I bought for like $6 at Walmart. It's a really, really nice t-shirt. It's perfect fabric. It fits me really well. But the date on the bottom of it, it says like Wade Wilson, Deadpool. It says all kinds of shit on the front of it. And it says like established 1993 or something like that. The date is totally incorrect. And it drives me nuts. And I can't remember if I was at like fucking Arby's. I think I was at an Arby's. I've eaten Arby's a lot here lately.
Yeah, we ate it last week.
Right, I've eaten Arby's a lot more frequently than I probably in the last month and a half than I have in probably the last 5 years. But one of the fucking people in the kitchen saw my shirt and he's like, "Hey man, cool shirt." And I was like, "Thanks." And then I realized that he was in a roundabout way insulting me because I didn't hear the rest of what he said until I walked away from the counter. It'd be a cool shirt if the date was right.
Oh, so he knew.
He fucking called me out on it.
That's awesome.
So, you know,
I mean, that's all. I mean,
again, no.
hats off to him.
I took no offense to it whatsoever
yeah,
because
you were already offended at the shirt
right.
yourself.
I was, I saw it the day that I bought it, and I was like, but it's the perfect fabric, and it fits me. And it fits me really well. And I don't have a Deadpool shirt, and
But it's the perfect fabric.
it's the perfect fabric. Ugh. And it fits me really well because I have a really weird torso shape. Very broad chested. I have a gut. My gut isn't massive, but with every yeah, I have a weird torso shape. So I have to have the right cut of a t-shirt.
I compared you to something in my mind. Like, it was either something or a character. And
A barrel?
No, I can't remember what it was, but it was perfect, and I wanted to tell you, and I was waiting for like a show like this to tell you,
And then you lost it.
and I'm drawing a blank right now.
I was getting fitted for a tux one time, and the guy fitting me told me that I was barrel chested, and I got really self conscious. It's like, okay, just measure me and get me out of here. But he's like, no, these measurements are a little bit tougher because you're barrel chested, and I was like,
Excuse me, sir.
I don't know if you're insulting me or if you're complimenting me. Because my whole life, it's like, yeah, you're built like a brick shit house. Okay, that's a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
A pretty solid, little stout guy.
Yeah.
But I'm barrel chested? Are you saying I'm fat, like, just in the upper half of my torso? Like, like I don't know how to take this. What is going on? I'm on a train and it's out of control.
A train of our existence?
Yes.
You're not going to get any of those here.
Nope.
Not in the sanctum of dicks.
Nope. None of them.
Nope. But anyway, so Nate, Pod Daddy Nate Phillips in the chat here says, full spoiler review, do it! Not today, pal.
Not today, pal.
Not today. We are doing spoiler free here on Journey into Comics. However, so if you're listening, this is Monday. Tomorrow, Tuesday, live on Podcastrophe, we're going to do full spoiler.
In
We're
between 5:30 and 6.
roughly around 5:30 or 6. We're going full spoiler on that show. We're going full bore, diving in.
Mm-hmm.
So
We might touch a few of the minor ones. Maybe.
yeah, we want to give you guys something, a reason to come over to us. We can't just,
While still giving you a reason to listen to this
We're just
shit.
going to give you the tip today.
Just a tip.
Yeah, you get the full shaft all the way to the balls tomorrow.
Yes.
Live.
Balls deep, as they say. As they say.
Christopher Robertson, first time tuning in. Right on. Glad you could join this Not Journey into Comics episode.
So,
This isn't typical.
to get everything back on the rails here,
Yeah, let's do this.
if you were going to give this film a number, no 9.5s, no 7.5s, just give it a solid number, your personal opinion, go.
23.
Okay.
The number 23.
Like I did with Deadpool. You're saying it was, yeah,
I'm just going off the movie, the number 23. 'Cause
No, I know.
everything's 23.
I know.
But if we're gonna get like serious, 42.
Jesus.
Because the answer to everything is 42.
Right.
All right.
Or 7.
All jokes aside, I'd give it an 8.
Really.
Yeah. I think it was a pretty solid movie.
So I would also give it an 8, and I said something in the theaters before we left
Yeah.
that I'm pretty sure up until we left that theater, you thought you would never hear me say.
Oh, yeah.
This is a really good
Yeah.
origin story.
It really is.
Anyone that has known me over any portion of my life, and especially during the course of my time halfway helming a podcast and guesting whenever I can, they know that I hate origin stories.
Absolutely.
Give us the established characters and just do it right. That's always been kind of my motto. This is a pretty good origin story.
It honestly is. I mean, given it's different. It's different than, the Venom origin that we all know and love.
But still slightly being a little bit accurate.
And they didn't really... Okay, so everybody's been like, what's Eddie Brock doing in San Francisco? It explains that.
Yes.
Without, fucking just handing it to you on it. It just briefly is like...
Venom does not have to be on Spider-Man's dick all
No.
the time. If anyone is a fan of the character, they should be able to appreciate the character without Spider-Man. Because there has been a lot of Venom throughout all of the multiverse without Spider-Man. Yeah. He does not need Spider-Man.
You're listening to Poor Entertainment with your host. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Andrew Poor.
Donald Trump and Taylor Swift. Now, obviously, those two should have nothing in common. She was never on, Celebrity Apprentice. He doesn't look like someone who'd be a big fan of country music. But, according to this article from the Huffington Post, Donald Trump says he likes Taylor Swift's music 25% less now. And I wonder what you're thinking. The same thing I saw when I saw the article. What is that about? So I guess many conservatives are mad that the singer endorsed a Democrat in Tennessee Senate race. So Donald Trump says he's less of a Taylor Swift fan than he was yesterday. The singer got publicly political for the first time on Sunday when she declared her support for Tennessee Democratic candidate for U.S. Senate, Phil Bredesen, in an Instagram post. In the process, she trashed the Republican contender, Rep. Marsha Blackburn, who leads in the polls. Many conservatives, not surprisingly, react with outrage at Swift's taking a stand that parts company with them, and upset were white supremacists and neo-Nazis who in the past somehow convinced themselves that Swift was on their side. Trump, in comments to reporters Monday afternoon, took an approach that sometimes seemed more statesman-like than most of his statements, while sounded petty in a way only he can. Trump tells, this is from a Twitter post from Catherine Watson, Trump tells us upon arriving back at the White House he likes Taylor Swift's music, but maybe about 25% less now that she has endorsed Bredesen. In the past, Trump has claimed to be a big fan of Swift's. As in a tweet from nearly 6 years ago, glad to hear that Taylor Swift will be co-hosting the Grammy nomination special on 12/5. Taylor is terrific. Reaction on Twitter to Trump's declaration includes skepticism that he really had an interest in Swift's music. Someone tweeted, can he name one song? Someone else tweeted, Donald Trump marinates in adolescent pettiness. What's his next move? Calling Kanye to share Taylor Swift horror stories. Another Twitter post was, when he says stuff like this, why doesn't he translate what a complete phony he is? I hope his next movie is to tell all his his next move is to tell all his Twitter followers to listen to Katy Perry songs exclusively for the next week. This guy, who does not know the words to the national anthem, couldn't pick Taylor Swift out of a lineup, I am sure. So some fun Twitter posts about that, and I could really care less about Taylor Swift or Donald Trump at this point. Definitely never dull moment though when he's around. So that was kind of the first thing I saw today. Another thing that broke down, and I think the guys at the guys at Podcastry who hosted JIC this week did break down Venom, but I kind of want to get into some of the box office numbers because there's some the projections for the first week did better than expected. So our early projections put Venom between 50 million and 60 million. It actually overperformed in a big way. Venom's estimated 80 million debut was more than enough to best the previous October box office opening weekend record of 55.8 million set by Gravity in 2013. While this debut is definitely stronger than expected, it doesn't exactly hold a candle to the rest of the Spider-Man franchise, but strong compared to the most superhero spin-offs. Venom's debut actually doesn't even come close to the original Spider-Man trilogy from director Sam Raimi, starring Tobey Maguire as the Webbed Wonder. 2002 Spider-Man had a 114.8 million debut, 403.7 million domestic total. So opening weekend record at the time, but the 2004 sequel, Spider-Man 2, did slide significantly with $88.2 million and $373.6 million. So not actually much less than what Venom brought in, and Spider-Man 2 is probably arguably the best of that trilogy. 2007 Spider-Man 3, which starred Topher Grace as Venom/Eddie Brock, rebounded with another then record, $151.1 million, which is interesting because not a lot of people like that. The record debut is also ironic, though, since it had the worst domestic haul of the three and considered the trilogy's worst by fans and critics alike. Oh, yeah, that's... creative differences between Raimi and the studio led Sony to scrap their proposed fourth movie in the franchise and just reboot it. Although seriously lackluster results, 5 years after Spider-Man 3, Sony released The Amazing Spider-Man in 2012, starring Andrew Garfield as Peter Parker / Spider-Man and Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy. While Spider-Man 90% Rotten Tomatoes and Spider-Man 2 93% on Rotten Tomatoes were critical hits, Spider-Man 3 took a bit of a hit with 63% on Rotten Tomatoes. That trend doesn't carry over into the new franchise. The Amazing Spider-Man scored a solid 72, but did not lead to box office success. The main Spider-Man opened with just $62 million. Franchise low despite opening to a franchise high of 4,318 theaters. They earned a middling $262 million domestic, which would be a franchise low until the sequel dropped in 2014. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, surprisingly enough, it did improve quite a bit on its opening weekend, earning $91.6 million, but its domestic tally of $202.9 million domestic. That still stands the franchise low to this day, with the studio seemingly getting back on the right track. So it seems like Venom's on track to do better than the Amazing Spider-Man franchise, that duo of movies, but doesn't hold a torch to the MCU, Spider-Man. So, let's see. After those abysmal figures, Sony went back to the drawing board, reached a shared right deal with Marvel, and resulted in the new, much younger Spidey, played by Tom Holland, making a memorial due in Captain America Civil War before last year's Spider-Man Homecoming, which made $117.2 million in debut and $334.2 million domestic. Despite critical and fan acclaim, Spider-Man Homecoming itself couldn't even surpass any of the movies from the original trilogy. Marvel gets to use Spider-Man in movies like Avengers Infinity War, Spider-Man Far From Home, which is currently filming, and the highly anticipated Avengers 4. While Sony's laying the foundation for its own Spidey spin-off universe with Venom. When you look a little closer, Venom's $18,831 per screen average from 40,250 theaters is better than the per-screen average of The Amazing Spider-Man, which had 14,360 per screen. But it fell short of the 21,186 per screen average of The Amazing Spider-Man 2. What Venom does have going for it is what produced on just a $100 million budget in a day and age when most superhero movies are produced on double that figure or more. While the figure at the low end for the franchise as a whole, when compared to the other superhero spin-offs, Venom ranks rather high. When it comes to superhero spin-offs as a whole, Venom's debut is somewhat in the upper echelon, but it's really more in the middle of the pack, largely because these movies are better, either big hits or big failures. There's no trouble fending off some of the domestic failures in the groups like Elektra, Catwoman, one of the first super spin-offs ever, Supergirl. One of the 3 Wolverine X-Men spin-offs has easily bested the debut of the Wolverine, but fell short of X-Men Origins Wolverine and Logan. And of course, it didn't even come close to Deadpool or this year's sequel, Deadpool 2. The super spin-off takes landscape is about to get a lot more crowded as a result in the coming years, thanks to a number of projects from 20th Century Fox, Sony, and Warner Brothers. Although Marvel's yet to spin off any of their huge MCU movies yet, one could perceive Black Panther as a spin-off since the character of T'Challa was first introduced in Captain America Civil War, or Wonder Woman as well, since she was introduced in Batman v Superman. But they still both feel way too big to be considered spin-offs. Sony will continue its Spider-Man spin-off universe with Morbius, while 20th Century Fox has Gambit and the New Mutants in the works, and Warner Brothers has several projects including a new Joker standalone origin film, Birds of Prey, and much more. While these projects may not open against each other, they still indicate that comic book franchise spin-offs like Venom aren't going away anytime soon. So yeah, that's kind of interesting to find out. And another movie that also had an interesting debut weekend, another movie that I would like to see that I haven't had a chance to see this past weekend, is A Star Is Born. And like Venom, Star Is Born also performed better than expected. So, this article from Vox. This weekend's box office returns the biggest ever for October opening weekend, propelled by a pair of musicians and a pile of black alien goo. Venom, obviously. Star Is Born delivered $41.25 million over the weekend, much higher than initial projections, along with a coveted A from CinemaScore, which bodes well for the movie's word-of-mouth prospects. Bradley Cooper's directorial debut is the fourth version of a film that had previously starred icons like Judy Garland, Barbra Streisand, and Janet Gaynor. This version stars Lady Gaga alongside Cooper. Strong critical reviews also will likely set the film on the path to plaudits during the upcoming award season. Venom actually has an audience score of B+, which is still pretty good. It was the same grade given to Justice League and Suicide Squad, so that's not as great, but be interested to see. To that point, the two movies drew very different audiences over the weekend. Venom's was 59% male, while A Star is Born was 66% female. 30% of Venom's audience was 25 or older, compared with 86% of A Star is Born's. The gap in target audience didn't stop some Gaga fans from campaigning, some with more irony than others, to sink Venom via fake reviews last week. But as numbers show, it didn't matter in the end. The massive opening weekend success of both films in tandem led to the biggest October weekend of all. May bode well for the robust movie season ahead. That kind of is weird. I don't know why they would attack a movie that has no connection. It's not like they're both similar movies. It wasn't like it was La La Land up against A Star is Born, where they're very similar tones. Or if it was, they were doing this again, like if she was in like a Spider-Man movie that was opening against Venom. Like, it doesn't make sense why they need to trash on. They can both succeed because they're both appealing to very different audiences. There's much people I know who are never going to see A Star is Born. And there's people who are never going to see Venom. That's just how people are. Some people want a music drama versus a superhero movie. So, yeah, I don't think there's any need for that. But both did well, and that's all that really matters. Today is something that kind of came up out of the blue today after I finished up working outside with Liz's father and grandfather, which was exciting, which is fun. And one thing you'll learn as an adult is that eventually you'll take vacation time not for fun, but to do home improvement projects. So, yay for us.
Or go to the doctor.
Or
just run errands because your life is so hectic that you can't even take a breath after work to go and get groceries.
Do you remember calling in sick to do something fun instead of calling in sick to act because you're actually sick?
Well, I didn't get to do that because my parents were fun suckers. There was one time we did it, but that was an extended one. So my dad took a business trip to Hawaii when I was in the 5th grade, and it was for 10 days, and so I was out of school, I think, for like 5 or 6 days or something like that, and that was the only time that I was ever taken out of school early, like, for an extended absence like that. I've never got to, like, do anything fun on a day off of school. My parents were very strict about that.
I don't feel good. Well, you're going to school.
As long as I wasn't throwing up and had a fever, you're going to school.
You just felt miserable at school.
Oh, yeah.
No amount of crying or...
I mean, I'm the same way now with work. It's sad.
Well, that's what, like... Now it's like, I can't be sick because it's more work to prepare a sub than to actually be sick.
That's why I have that shirt you got me. Everything hurts and I'm dying, but writing subplants is worse.
Oh yeah, I like
that
you have that shirt. You just
need
to wear that to school more often.
I've worn it. I like it.
Other
teachers like it.
Like, I agree. Mm-hmm. But, we got a lot of it. So, what we want to talk about today was youths.
The youth.
These two youths.
I did not think I would ever get to the point where I'd have to act like my parents and be like, these teenagers these days, they're terrible. But it's true. They are terrible.
Yeah, our last big encounter with the future...
Future of America.
The future of America. And that was Liz and I, being adults, had a nice night. We had to return some stuff to Macy's. And then we decided, we're at the mall, let's go play some glow golf, which is like... putt-putt, but you're inside, there's black lights and all that fun stuff. Like, well, it's cheap, we'll play a quick game and then kind of go about our business. So we're there, we're playing around.
And they have a nice order to things. They have nice arrows pointing you in the direction, and they have the numbers on the holes and stuff. So, like, They're very on top of their game. Right,
and then all of a sudden these prepubescent girls with, like, glow stick headbands and all this crap show up as, like, a birthday party thing, which I don't know why... people bring their, like, kids to a birthday party at a mall, but okay. So they came in and they got their stuff, and then we're just kind of...
Obnoxious.
Obnoxious is
like, I don't know, like, I'm sure I was obnoxious as a teenager as well, or a prepubescent teenager, but I was never to the point where it would bother other people, you know? Like, they were just, like, all over the place. They would take a free hole, and they would just put away and whatever, and didn't really have any regards for, like, the order of that kind of stuff. And that's what kind of made me mad, because there were, like, if it were just us and, like, younger people, that would be different. But there were, like, parents with their kids, and, like, parents with their like, kids with their grandparents and parents, and, like, that's not fair when there's, like, families there. If it were different, like, if there were a lot of, like, younger couples like us there, I wouldn't have cared.
Right.
But there were, like, families there, and, like, with little kids.
Right.
And
who are more well-behaved than those kids.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. Like, it's one thing, like, okay, if you rent the whole place, and it's, like, it's totally your space, play to your heart's content. Run from the last hole to the first hole and back. I don't care. But, like, if you're there, you need to, like, follow the rules, like... Most other putt-putt places, there's no way to get to other holes. It's kind of you play a track. Mm-hmm. You can't really run around. So that's... But it was in a confined space. It was in, like, a former other retail store, so it was just a bunch of holes close together. But still, like, if all of you did it, like, ran through it, it would have been fine, because you all were playing quick. But you shouldn't just be like, I'm going to go to 15, then 9, then 1, then 24. Like, no, just play the holes as ordered. Mm-hmm. Like, and there were some like we saw some nice people that were a little bit younger than us too.
Yeah.
Like that group ahead of us was like, we're just messing around. We're not actually just go ahead of us, just play through. And
yes, there are still a few youths that are nice, but a
Right.
lot of the time.
But they were older youth. They were like probably
They were in high school.
Yeah.
But I still think there are some high schoolers that can be obnoxious as well.
I see a lot of those kids when I'm driving to work. Since we live by a high school, so my commute, if I don't leave at a certain time, I get stuck waiting. For one, there's a police person that, like, directs traffic. So, but I get to see a lot of teenagers and that riffraff kind of running around and going into, like, speeding into their parents' vehicles or hopping out and not obeying all the crosswalks and stuff.
That
and
drives me
it just becomes a mess.
crazy. Although, well...
But it's not as bad as I've seen.
No, at least the road that the high school is on over here is not that bad. It's only a 2-lane road.
Right.
But, like, it was bad by, like, my high school. So my high school was a lot bigger than and probably about the same size as the high school by us. But we were by 2 busy streets, Arlington Heights Road and Dundee. And, like, there were kids that would jaywalk all the time. And you would be, like...
5 total lanes with the turn lane.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. And it was crazy. Like, not even... Like, some kids would even jaywalk in the crosswalk. You know, they would go when it was still, like, the red person or whatever. And it was just, like... It's so risky. We've had, like, kids... I don't know if it's happened recently, but I know in the past that there were at least a few high school kids, because... We have open campus lunch, so you can, literally, there's a McDonald's right across the street from the school, and, like, someone got hit by a car because they weren't paying attention when they were crossing the street, and I don't remember, I think she was okay, but I mean, it's just, like, it's scary, like, kids can be so brainless sometimes.
Right, I feel like it's worse now with kids constantly on their phones.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't
agree.
And I can't really say much, because I know, like, we're on our phones a lot, like, I feel like our whole generation's on our phones a lot, but, like, we grew up without phones. Like, these kids that are, like, in high school now have had phones since they were, like...
Small.
Since they were, like, not toddlers, but since they were, like, old enough to have, like, grade school age kids.
Well, some of the kids that are coming up into, like, middle school and stuff have never lived a life without, like, knowing what an iPad is or, like, what a, you know, like, a laptop or whatever. Like, without, like, no life without that kind of stuff, and, like, it's appalling.
Right.
Because literally, like, my kid, I teach all, like, 5th through 8th grade, but mostly I see 8th graders, and, like, these kids, like, they don't even buy calculators anymore. They're like, oh, well, I can just use my phone, and, like, they'll just pull it out during math class and just start going to town on their calculator on their phone. Ha! Those other teachers when I was younger. You're never gonna have a calculator in your pocket. How are you going to go to the grocery store and spend money? Well, obviously they were wrong.
I can do a lot more than that with my phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember that whole thing. Like, you're not going to want to carry around a big fat calculator in your pocket can remember something much bigger than the calculator I used in grade school. Mm-hmm. And I still memorize those multiplication tables for nothing.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That's the thing that bugs me the most as a teacher is that they don't know they don't have anything memorized anymore. It's like, oh, like I had to do like, so we were doing square roots and stuff, and we had to know like what everything squared was, and then what the square root of everything, like the perfect squares were, and then just like anything squared. We had to know that. It's basic doubles facts. And my kids don't know. They just didn't know. They were like, well, I gotta type in the calculator. I'm like, guys,
you should have
know your doubles facts. I mean, they're not that hard, I promise. And it's like, they just don't. It's just not in there. It's not, they're learning, but they're learning for, like, the specific time period. Like, if they need it for a certain unit, great. They'll know it for the unit. But then if you ask them for it later, it's there's no retention at all.
I mean, like, I know I probably forgot some of my multiplication tables or some of the roots and squared and all that, but it happens. If you don't use it and you're an adult, sometimes that stuff just slips your memory.
Yeah, I understand, but like basic double-digit multiplication, like not double-digit multiple, like just doubles facts. They don't know that 1 times 1 is 1. Like, they don't know 2 times 2 is 4. Like, 3 times 3, like, they think 3 times 3 is 6. I'm like, it's not 6, it is 9. And it's like,
I remember teaching it with, like, you have 3 of these things, so this, yeah, and all that.
It's like I almost have to teach, I don't even know when they, like, what, I learned my multiplication facts maybe in 3rd grade. It's like, do I have to go back and teach 3rd grade to these kids?
Teach the multiplications of 9 with your hands.
Oh my gosh, they don't even know that. I showed them that once, and they were like, it blew their mind.
Right, that's something I still stuck out since I learned it, like, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, whatever grade that was, that, like, you know what, like, you can easily do with that, or...
Yeah, it's like, or like the 6 times 8. 6 times 8 is always 48. Like, that's how I remembered it. They just have no clue. They have no clue.
And if I asked
them to skip count, they'd probably act like I was asking them to cut their tongue out.
The skip count.
A skip count, like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12.
Really?
Like, yeah, they just don't know. They know the 10s and maybe 5s, but like, if you ask them like, oh, count by 3s. Why? Because sometimes you need to count by 3s. Right. I mean, that's just the nature of math. But it's not even just math. They're just terrible at, like, I don't even know.
School.
Just, they don't care about school. There are so many kids, the way that they talk to adults, not just, like, in school, but just in life, that it's appalling. Like, when I was in middle school, I would have never, ever, ever thought, I'm going to talk back to the teacher, and I'm going to tell him to fuck off. Like, that's what some of these kids do, and it's like, I would have never thought to do that. Well, not that I wanted to do that, but...
I was afraid. Like,
like, they think it's acceptable, and it's cool, and it's really not.
It's not. Like, have respect for your teachers. Like, my thing was, like, if I did something wrong at church, I was going to get in trouble at school, and I was going to get equally as in trouble at home, if not worse.
Exactly. And I don't think that happens anymore because people just want to put their kids in front of a TV and just say, okay,
I mean, kids
don't want to deal with it.
Kids that have been given an iPad since they were able to hold it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's better so they can play games or watch shows, so they don't have to be taught or parented.
Yeah.
Like, no kid under double digits should have computer time, an iPad time, phone time. Like, no.
I think it just needs to be, if they're going to do it, I think it needs to be monitored because it's so easy now to, like, just go on the internet and, like, type in anything. Even if you type something in spelled incorrectly, you can find some pretty, like,
Google results, like,
graphic stuff on there just by accident. And it's not like, I mean, you have to put the parental controls on, but not a lot of parents really think that. They just
or don't even know, like, how to do it.
Exactly, because some parents, it's like, oh, this kid is screaming and crying. I'm just going to put him on the iPad, and then I'm just going to leave him alone.
Right.
And that's not really a way to solve the problem. You're just pacifying it.
Right. Or it's like, oh, we're at a restaurant, the kid's going to act out. Let me just give him an iPad, so he'll just be quiet so I can eat my food. I
mean, there are some instances where, yes, that can be acceptable, but I feel like there's not a ton, like, there's... The parenting going on at this point is not like the parenting was when, you know, you and I were growing up. Because, like, now parents are worried about giving them certain punishments, like, oh, a spanking, oh, washing their mouth out with soap. Like, my parents made me, like, so we had wood floor, and there was a significant, well, I'd probably say, like, maybe an 1/8-inch gap between boards around that time, and my parents would make it, like, if we did something bad, we had to kneel on the floor, no butt on the back of your legs, like, you had to kneel up straight on the cracks, and it hurt. I mean, it wasn't like a spanking or anything. I mean, we didn't get spanked very often, but it was something when we were older, like, that's something we don't want to do, and definitely taught you a lesson not to do it. Right. And it's not like, oh, I have bad knees now because I did, because they made me kneel on the floor. I mean, they could have made it a lot worse. There were other parents that would do the kneeling, but they would put rice on the ground, so you had to kneel on the rice. Oof, that would hurt. But it's like certain, like, things
parents
that are gonna...
afraid that what would be considered, like, abuse, that it's an overcorrection.
We're gonna fuck the sodomites in the...
Need more lamp, brother.
Oh, is that the voice that you're assigning to the moth?
That's the voice in my head because I see the little accent marks and I'm just like, need more lamp, brother.
Okay, but you completely derailed me. God, I hate you.
Go on, brother.
But God, but yeah, we should combine that.
Okay.
Fucking the moth meme with the fucking sirens and the John Cena theme song. You can't see me. Turns on the light. Lamps.
I'm sorry. I absolutely love the moth memes.
I love
just
the
because
moth
they're
memes
so
too.
fucking dumb.
And moths are really creepy.
I love like the triggered eyes. You know what I mean? Where it just glows. And like, there's that one moth that keeps popping up that just looks like all hulked out, like kind of like a fucking muscly dude. Like, I need steroids. Like, no, this fucking moth needs a lamp. Need more lamp, brother.
What accent marks are you referencing?
They're like little dots.
The 2 little dots. That's called an umlaut.
Do tell.
Umlaut.
Do tell.
That's what it's called.
No. Tell me what sound that's supposed to be. Then.
What letter is it over?
Usually brother. So the O.
So the O. Yeah, it accentuates the O.
Brother.
Yes.
So I was saying it right.
Yes.
Cool. I did a thing. Folks, I did a thing.
God, Alex is blowing us up. What she got? Lay it on us.
She says that's the voice she uses too. Not even joking. Brother. Need more lamp.
But, yeah. So what I was saying was, before you derailed me, and then I got distracted by moth memes. I almost said distracted by lamp.
Like a moth to a
flame. Lamp. But, you almost derailed me again, you fuck.
I do have some funny news about Cameron.
Hold on.
When we get a chance.
Hold on.
Later.
Every time we try and do a spoiler-free review of anything,
we just spoil the shit
we
out of
always fuck it up, and like 5 minutes in, we're like, okay.
Episode 2 of this fucking show.
We can't take this anymore. Spoilers.
Episode 2 of this show, we did a whole season review of Game of Thrones Season 7, and about an hour and 15 minutes into it, I was like, oh, spoiler alert. And we all had a good chuckle. Carry on.
That's all I was going to say. So I thought we did a really good job
Friday
night when we recorded.
We really did.
Staying 100% spoiler-free.
Moth meme prophecies.
Ooh.
I like it. I like it.
That's one of my favorite, like, unsolved mysteries. The fucking Mothman.
Like, I love and hate that we have chat, or the comment feed, because our listeners don't really understand. They don't get it. But
watch the live stream.
The live stream is there, and it's such an integral part of our show. But so if you're listening to this, on either the Journey into Comics Network or our own feed, Podcastrophe on Podbean. Watch our show, like participate, like come in here on Tuesdays around 5:30 or 6 Eastern time, correct? Are we on Eastern time?
I thought we were on Central Time.
Central time, whatever it is. It's 5:30 our time. And participate in our chat, so you know what the hell's going on. You know, it's a lot of fun. You can see our stupid faces.
Well, and if Tuesdays don't work for you, I mean, just news for everybody. Next year we'll have to go back to Wednesday.
Yeah.
More than likely, we will have to go back to Wednesday. The prodigal son hath returned, so to speak, back on our original day.
Wednesday's so much better. Tuesday fucks me up so bad because we did Wednesday for so long.
Right.
That
Yep,
now
it gets me too, man.
When we record on Tuesday, I think it's Thursday the next day.
And I have class on Monday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
So after we record on Tuesday, I'm like, fuck yeah, it's Thursday. I don't have class tomorrow. And then I always get crushed because I have class tomorrow.
I go into work thinking it's Thursday.
Yep.
And then I'm completely crushed because it's Wednesday. Thursday is the next day, and I still have like 3 or 4 days left of work.
Yeah, I do the same thing, man.
Sucks.
It fucking blows asshole.
We're on Eastern time.
Oh, I thought we were on the region's on Central Time.
Yeah.
That's Chicago time.
Chicago time. They're now behind us.
Real quick tangent here. Like when they were doing all the time zone bullshit,
And
like
they switched us.
well, wait, it's like, what time zone should we be on? Should we be on the major like cultural center in fucking Chicago, one of the biggest cities in the United States? No, we should be on the same time zone as New York because it'll help us be so much more successful businessmen. That's why they did it. Because they thought that industry and business would flourish if we were on the same time zone as New York. Chicago is a trade hub of the United States.
That's stupid.
You have major trade hubs spread out all over the United States. And they're all either close to a river, the ocean, or a lake. Chicago, it's on the lake. New York, it's on the ocean.
And a lake.
And a lake. You got
And
Houston.
some rivers.
And rivers. Lots of waterways. Then you got Houston. Rivers and the fucking ocean. California. All of that stuff.
Probably going to be an island.
Right. Well, or the bottom of the ocean. But, it's like, why? Why does everything have to be fucked up? This is what happens when the government controls shit. They have this thing called fucking daylight savings time. It's dumb.
Yeah.
You know what else is dumb? I lost my train of thought. Me! I'm dumb!
I'm stupid! Can we just talk about Venom?
Hold on!
Fuck.
Because it was daylight savings time, and then I was going to say something else. Fuck, I'll get back to it. Venom. San Francisco. It's where the movie takes place.
Yeah. Alright, so, for those listening, watching,
Spoiler time.
we're going into full spoilers. If you had your chance with Journey into Comics, we did a live stream on Friday night directly after the movie.
I don't think we're going to break this down scene by scene.
No.
Because that gets very dry, very boring. I don't like listening to scene-by-scene breakdowns of anything.
Which we do a lot.
Which we do, but we've tried here lately to not do as much of that. So, at least I have. Because it's very boring to listen to.
Alright, so...
Spoiler time.
Spoiler time!
We're going to remind you one more time, it's spoiler time.
Stop! Spoiler time.
I fucking love you. Normally I would say hate you, but
I
love you
was
this time.
expecting a hate or loathe.
So, the movie takes place in San Francisco. Everyone knows the main character is Eddie Brock.
So right off the bat, we are hit with a fucking rocket ship. And you hear a name, Jameson. Mm-hmm. Crashes in Malaysia. And you hear the name Jameson.
And then we see him.
You see him. He's kind of a body.
And then he's dead.
I don't know if he's dead. Oh, no, he's definitely dead. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he's definitely dead.
He was the only one alive. And then he was also dead.
Yeah.
And then it kicks over to fucking Mr. Brock.
So Riot, in the opening scene, Riot escapes containment, takes over fucking J. Jonah Jameson's son, crashes the fucking spaceship into Earth, and then hijacks another body and fucking disappears. Trying to get back to the Life Foundation. So, so I'm just going to do the quick plot, and then we'll go further than that. Mm-hmm. The whole purpose of this movie is the Life Foundation is trying to explore space so they can find us a new place to live. They find the symbiotes on a fucking comet. They try to bring them back. They fucking crash on Earth. Most of the symbiotes die.
Yeah.
Riot is no longer a son / clone of Venom. He's the main man leading the charge.
Yeah.
And
that was weird.
I liked it. I really dug it. And then we go on a journey watching Venom and Tom Hardy, Eddie Brock, become one. And it's a really enjoyable journey. The reason I wanted to do like that quick, like here's the plot.
Synopsis, yeah.
Here's the synopsis. Because yet again today, I saw another. It went down on Rotten Tomatoes again.
Really?
It's in the 30% range, Rotten. But the reason I wanted to do that and bring that up before we went further into the film, you and I both gave this film very high remarks. We both enjoyed it a shit ton. Both of our wives enjoyed it. It does not deserve that. It broke the box office record in October.
Yeah.
In the month of October, it is now the highest grossing film of all time for the month.
Can we watch a real quick clip from a review?
Yeah.
All right, let me pull this up real quick.
Yeah, pull it up.
And just,
I'll keep... Well, it's already up.
I'm just going to pop in like 3 minutes in.
Okay.
So this is kind of funny.
Man, I dig that fucking black suit shirt that he's got.
Yeah. This is the kind of funny review of Venom.
So, Jim, as you know, Tim usually does trivia for the movie.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy says his favorite 40 minutes of the film were cut.
Yeah.
And also he wishes it was rated R. And also nothing on my phone except a text from Goldfarb.
Yeah.
There was one other one too. He wishes it was rated R, and that he wants to fight Spider-Man.
My thing is, I love that. I wish this was rated R, and I walked out of the movie.
Wouldn't have saved it.
Thankfully thinking, I'm glad they cut that 40 minutes out.
Oh my God.
Someone at Sony was like, listen, this movie is not good. So the least that can be is, like, the very least we can do for audiences is get him in and out.
Yeah. Kevin, what'd you think?
Ah, man. It just wasn't good.
Sure.
At all.
Great verbiage there, man.
Shame on you, Sony. Shame on you.
Well, no, see, I want to go that far.
No,
Go ahead.
shame.
He just shamed him. You can't unshame him. Once you shame, you can't unshame.
I have, like, it's weird. Let me back up, because I don't want to paint this in, like, a total negative light. I actually had fun watching this movie.
No,
but it's because it's such a train wreck.
Yeah, but, like,
the parts that were fun, I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, I thought I was going to hate Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy. It's getting confusing now, because all the Venoms are Tom. I actually liked his goofiness. I liked the Michelle Williams back and forth. I was like, this is cool, but no one else in the universe was that.
I don't think any of that, like, made any sense. It's just like, why is this character like this?
He was kooky.
He's just who he is.
He tried to bring a different dimension to him.
Yeah, but he's also just, like, stupid.
He was stupid. What I appreciated about it was, and this isn't a real spoiler, so nobody calm down, is the fact that he was shitty to Michelle Williams. In a thing where I was like, oh, don't do that. And then he did, and you're like, oh, and I was like, oh, right. I forgot that even Eddie Brock, pre-Venom, isn't supposed to be a good guy. Not necessarily a terrible guy, but morally flexible.
Like a shitty person.
Yeah.
So, I started listening to this morning on my way to work. I got like 5, maybe 6, 7, 8 minutes in, and I literally turned this review off. I'm not a person who, like, stifles shit like that. I want to hear it. But, like, I enjoyed this movie so much, and I enjoyed it so much that I just could not listen to these guys, who I even based my own podcast off of. Podcastrophe is slightly based off of Kind of Funny,
Right.
Game Over Greggy show. I couldn't even finish listening to this because I just couldn't I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I stopped.
You know, I'm not an internet celebrity, so you know, right there, that's like 10 points off of whether or not the fact that my opinion matters. And then on top of that, you know, I'm a young, white, slightly obese male. So there's another 10 points off my opinion mattering or not. You know, that's a jab at our political climate. I hope no one gets mad at me for saying that. Whoa. But I have seen review after review after review that's identical to that. And yes, is Tom Hardy's rendition of Eddie Brock goofy and kind of dumb? Yes, Eddie Brock in the comics is a dumb fucking guy.
Yeah.
That's why Venom picked him. Because he was strong and he was dumb. And Venom could manipulate him to fucking get revenge on Spider-Man. It fits with the character. Okay? Yeah. There's number one. Let's fucking check that box off. Number two. Oh, it doesn't have Spider-Man in it. We can't have Venom without Spider-Man. Like, I have heard that so many times in the last month that I'm fucking sick of it. Appreciate the character. Appreciate Tom Hardy.
Yeah, this is not the Venom from your comic books. This is its own thing.
Anything in the fucking MCU right now is not fucking conducive of the characters for the last fucking 55 years. Get over yourselves. Fucking stroke your dick thinking about something else instead of, man, Thor's armor isn't right. It should be different. Where's his helmet with the wings? Stick that helmet with the wings up your ass.
Yeah.
Enjoy the fucking material that we get.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're not getting it.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Is it the greatest movie of all time?
Absolutely not.
Is it better than Infinity War? Hell no.
What's wrong with being childish? I like being childish.
Before I go, I just want to tell you are fantastic.
Never trust a hug. It's just a way to hide your face.
That's the exciting thing. Nobody in the universe can do what we're doing.
Why are you pointing your screwdrivers like that? They're scientific instruments, not water pistols.
Gallifrey! Yes, this must be where I live.
This is gonna be fun.
Boom. Yep. And then we got this super cool thing that they've never done before on Doctor Who, where every single guest spot for the entire season was featured in a little, like a clip,
like a
reel.
preview of what's to come on Doctor Who, and it was all the guest stars, which I thought was dope.
Yeah, it didn't tell you where they were going to be featured. It didn't show,
Because honestly, I haven't really been keeping up with any of the new news of like casting or anything because I'm still like a season behind, and I don't want to get all spoilery or whatever.
Totally. It seems like this is going to be a very self-contained episode, or not episode, but season rather. Like they're definitely trying to set themselves apart from the past with nods
like,
to the past.
Was this the first episode that we haven't even seen the TARDIS in of like
New Who? Wow, that's actually a great question. Let me just quickly. Okay, so you see it all of Capaldi, or not all of Capaldi. You see all of Eccleston's season.
Like every episode, you see the TARDIS, and the Doctor is utilizing the TARDIS in some regard, either to get away or to hide out or whatever. But this episode, you didn't see a TARDIS.
Not at all. Even at the end, when you thought you were going to get the TARDIS,
right? They were just floating in fucking space. Like, oh shit,
something has gone wrong.
Yeah, clearly. So, what's going to happen? I don't know. I'm excited.
I know, and this weekend we get the new...
Clearly we know they're all going to be fine, because there's a whole season they teased.
Totally. This coming weekend, after this episode debuts, this Sunday, we will get episode 2 of Series 11, The Ghost Monument, which I saw like a 15-second teaser for. We'll pull it up after the podcast. It looks all right. They didn't really give anything away, so there's not really much to report. Like, it's very vague.
Sweet.
But I want to know what you guys, rate this first go for Jodie and Chibnall and all of that. And
it's hard to rate.
I wouldn't rate it. I would just say that they did a great job. It was a really fresh, entertaining, and well written, and well acted.
The cinematography was incredible.
Who, it's a whole new thing, which I think people will be able to get into. And there's a lot of characteristics that make you believe that she really is the Doctor, and that this isn't going to be uncharted territory, you're still going to get what you love.
Yeah, absolutely. you're definitely getting.
I feel great about this episode. I liked it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the new season.
Mhm.
I will say I don't like the new remix of the theme.
Really?
All that much. I'm
I
not
dig
super
it.
into
I liked it. I thought it sounded like the old school Who, like
With
it was just a
notes
little
of Trent
noisy. It
Reznor.
was a little noisy for me.
Yeah, you did. You said
Yeah.
that it sounded a little industrial to you.
Yeah, it was a little too much trudging through the mud for me.
I feel you.
don't
It
know.
was.
I can respect
it was
that.
different. It was
Yeah,
different.
and I mean,
Not my
I've heard
favorite.
all the different iterations. You know,
That's another thing to
of
note
the Who
too.
theme.
Murray Gold out as the composer for Doctor Who, so all of the
Yeah,
music
it's all
was different.
It was all different.
Wow, for
I'm
being
still warming up to it.
I was just getting ready to
I'm
ask
not
you,
gonna...
as someone who's into music like you are and understands music composition on that level, was there anything that really stood out to you in this first episode musically, or was it just kind of like you're still getting your bearings to what this person's style is?
Yeah, I don't want to comment on it yet because I'm gonna give it a little time.
Let it grow on you.
Yeah,
To me,
I didn't. It wasn't. I didn't. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
I didn't warm up to it like right away, but I don't warm up to most music changes right away. I have to like give it space to kind of do its thing.
Be its own thing.
Yeah. I don't want to judge it just by one episode. I'm gonna see what the trend is.
Fair enough.
You know.
Yeah, see if there is a trend.
Yeah. See what the style is and everything because it's so ingrained with the other composer, and when it's coming, the different big themes.
Yeah, I thought it was a little. I don't want to say like emotionally manipulative cheese.
Yeah.
At times, but I just said it.
Yeah.
It was on the cusp of that for sure.
Yeah, it was on the cusp. Like I was trying really hard to be a good sport about it.
That's why I'm giving it another episode. I don't know.
It wasn't as bad as what the CW does with like the Flash.
Ooh, yeah, I don't even want to go there.
We don't even want to go to the CW right now.
That's a whole other podcast.
That's a whole other podcast. Yeah, that's the Journey into Comics podcast.
Yeah, we'll be talking about some other stuff. Coming up next week on 213. Hope you guys check it out. Anyways, that's Cheap Pop.
You just set them up for you and you knock them out of the park.
I will just say I really loved the cinematography. This is the greatest Doctor Who has ever looked. Hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
I'd say that too.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I'd say that too.
I mean, all the special effects looked good.
Yeah, it did.
Everything. I really was just
And
like,
I loved the practical effects. I liked the fact that those teeth were all painstakingly made by a makeup artist.
Yeah, I liked that.
You know?
Oh, man.
Like, my sister does that kind of work, and I really feel for that kind of, like, attention to detail and, like...
meticulousness.
Tedious, yeah, totally.
And the crazy thing being also, those are 2 and 3 and 4 day shoots. So
Yeah,
that guy's got to
makeup
remake up
application.
again and again.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, that guy was a good sport.
Yeah.
Good job,
Totally.
Tim Shaw.
Good job, Tim Shaw. Episode title. Good job, Tim Shaw. Thank you, Veronica. Awesome. Yeah, okay. I don't really have much more to say about the new series. I am looking forward to where we go from here. We did get Jodie getting her new digs, too. At the end
Her
of the
adorable little
episode.
outfit. Yeah, I dig it.
Her, like, weird capri. They're, like, longer than capris, but they're capris, I
Like
guess.
Gauchos.
Those are called gauchos.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Thank you
It's a
guys
real
for being
thing.
fashionistas.
I don't know how I feel about gauchos, but they
What do you
work for
think?
her because she had the cute suspenders.
I was gonna ask about
without
the
looking
suspenders.
like too,
It's all about the material
GAY.
with the gauchos.
She also had the
Yeah.
cool, like, sort of trench, but not trench. It was
Yeah,
light.
I dug her coat. I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked that she had pockets.
What do you guys think about Jodie Whittaker, the first Doctor Who Barbie?
Yeah, we shared that on our Gallif Radio Facebook page when Mattel posted about it.
You
Like,
can now order that, by the way. They
yeah,
are
I think that's
available for
cool.
order.
Now I want a Peter Capaldi one because it'd be adorable and angry.
Absolutely.
And I want
In swimwear.
I want him to be from the episode where he was playing a rock and roll show in like medieval England or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be a good Barbie doll.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, do you want to
Make that happen.
do you want to read this off for us?
What is that?
This is the overnight viewing figures for the first season or the first episode of the season. Oh, sorry, you can't see that.
No.
I'll scooch up and read it. No worries.
I can't even see that.
It says Doctor Who, The Woman Who Fell to Earth, was watched by 8.2 million viewers. a share of 40.1 of the total local TV audience, according to the unofficial overnight figures. The audience grew throughout the episode, peaking at 8.52 million for the final 15 minutes. Damn. The rating makes Doctor Who the third highest rating of the week, just behind 2 editions of Strictly Come Dancing. Must be a dance show. It is the highest overnight rating for the series for a regular episode for over 10 years. The debut episode of the 12th Doctor, Deep Breath, had an overnight rating of 6.8 million viewers, while the debut of the 11th Doctor, The 11th Hour, had a 7.7 million view with a 0.03 also watching on BBC HD, making a total of 8 million views. The last regular episode to top this figure was Journey's End, Series 4 in 2008, with an overnight figure of 9.4 million. The highest rating for a Sunday for the results show of Strictly Come Dancing, with an average of 9.04 million. So that Strictly Come Dancing show is their best show. But Doctor Who, third highest, the highest rating in over 10 years. Journey's End, just so you guys to be clarified, that's when we had Donna, Martha, Rose, Jackie, Mickey.
Yeah, that was that
fucking
big...
everybody. The Dr. Donna.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Damn.
Yes, Davros. So.
Yeah, this Doctor Who has a lot to live up to.
Yeah, but I mean, that first episode's a great first showing. I think the numbers are going to probably stay solid. And speaking of Journey's End and the 10th Doctor, I did just recently pull up For Audio Adventures.
That's
but
awesome.
Still,
10th Doctor and Donna back for more audio adventures. Man, I just love David Tennant. Look at his face. Look at that picture.
Yeah,
with
and
Donna.
They have
God.
a picture of the
That's
the 10th Doctor's Adventures. It's got a Jadoon on it. A couple Jadoon.
Doctor Who.
And Grandpa Wilfred.
I haven't got into any of the audio adventures, only because I don't have time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Maybe when we're, touring or something, we can start putting them on while we're driving.
Oh my God,
to get in the zone, like on long trips. That would be so nerdy. But I'm for it.
You just made my whole night. That was the best idea you've had.
I want to hear
today.
David Tennant again as the Doctor. Are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, and you know that David Tennant and Martha did a cartoon as well?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
There was a cartoon.
Martha.
Yeah, I know. I know, Martha.
You loved Martha.
I did love Martha.
What are you talking about? I didn't.
I was just mirroring you and your angst against Martha because she wasn't Rose. But Martha was my first companion. See, that's what nobody understands. The first Doctor Who I ever watched was Human Nature, Family of Blood, meaning the first companion I ever got used to, the closest thing to having a doctor, was Martha, pretending to be a slave in the 1800s. What the fuck? Like, craziness, So I do have a soft spot for Martha.
Fair. Fair point.
And you also have to consider...
remember your first.
True. And weirdly enough, you have to also consider that after the Human Nature, Family of Blood, the very next Doctor Who episode of that new series that I watched, after I had watched all of that other new series, Who seasons 1 and 2, was Blink.
Oh, yeah.
And man,
that's a great episode.
Hit it out of the park, Sally Sparrow. Anyways, Sarah. You want to talk about this interesting thing you found at the second, Charles?
Oh, my God, yeah. I'm really excited to talk about this. We had previously talked about it a little bit on Foodies. You went to a bookstore and went on a book adventure and found the most fabulous fucking books.
Yeah, sometimes I make good finds. But this book, I got used in, I don't know what section. I don't know why it was there, but it's called The Making of Doctor Who. And it's from... Wait, I have to get the... originally published in Great Britain in 1972.
Like the cover art of this book alone is gold.
Yeah, we will have to post a picture of the cover art. But this version is from 1976. But it goes through everything about Classic Who. And it has a synopsis of every single episode, like all the episode arcs. And so we're going to be doing...
Up until a point, though. Up at what now? Like,
where does it
end
for old
What's
school
the last
Oh,
episode they
my bad.
have
Well,
listed?
whatever was happening in 1976. So
the Ribos invasion.
Let's see. What'd you say?
I'm guessing Ribos invasion?
No, wait. Let me make sure I'm at the end. Yes, the Hand of Fear.
Oh.
But this goes up through the Fourth Doctor's adventures.
It's like little Cliff's Notes, a synopsis of each episode in one magical little book.
Yeah, it's when he leaves Sarah on Earth, Sarah Jane Smith.
Yeah,
that's where
right.
this leaves off.
We looked at it, yeah.
Which is, tied into the new series, if y'all know.
Where does that book start? Is there like an epilogue, or is that a prologue?
Well, it doesn't start with the episode arc summaries. It doesn't start with that. It has. Let's see what we got.
Let's do a book report.
Yeah. Well, it goes over how it all began, which is whatever, some sort of preface or something, and then it talks about the Daleks. And
it just gets right into it.
We're definitely going to do an entire episode dedicated to the Daleks.
Yeah, for sure. And then who is the Doctor? So it talks about who is the Doctor.
At that point, only 4 actors played him.
Oh, apparently Tom Baker gets a whole chapter. It says Tom Baker is Doctor Who.
Well, that was at the time when he was, he was their marathon man at that point.
Correct, yeah. So, still one of the most, well, probably I would say the most popular of the classic
and
Doctors,
the longest reigning Doctor in history.
Not my favorite still, although I did like him. And then it talks about the 3 Doctors.
Amazing
the
story
first
arc
Doctor,
with Omega.
Second Doctor, Third Doctor. Ooh, John Pertwee. I like him.
I know.
Monsters Galore and the Master. That's what this chapter's called.
Oh, that's dope.
And this talks about the Cybermen, the Ice Warriors, the Yeti, the Autons. The Autons get a lot. Silurians
Where was
and
this
the
book
Sea
when we
Devils.
talked about that?
Huh?
Where was this book when we talked about the Autons like a couple episodes ago?
I know. It was waiting for us for $2.10.
And do you know what's crazy?
You're right.
Here's something I didn't put together until today. The first season of John Pertwee as the Doctor and the second season of John Pertwee as the Doctor both start with Auton stories.
Yeah.
His first story is against the Autons.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the
and
setup.
that's how Christopher Eccleston's does too.
But not Terror of the Autons. Spearhead from Space is John Pertwee's first episode.
Yeah, that it sets up Terror of the Autons.
Yes, and yes, totally.
Sets it up.
We did that on a classic cut. But I agree with you saying Eccleston also having it as his first big monster. It's a beautiful callback.
It's time for Brews with Dudes. Ah, juicy.
And welcome to another episode of Brews with Dudes. I'm your host, Nick Maxon, sitting here once again with Brett Maxwell.
Hello, hello.
You just heard us cracking open the Fountain of Juice, a double IPA from 450 North Brewing Company. It is full of Citra, Amarillo, Eldorado, and Vic Secret hops.
Couple good ones in there.
This is going to be delicious. Would you like to do the honors?
I would.
That's a good question. Where is my glass? It's on the
There it
ground
is.
for some reason. It's like I'm begging for it to be broken. Brett, it's been a couple weeks since you've been on.
It has. I always like to space it out a little bit.
It's a good thing to do. Been trying to find some new folks to come in and give a fresh perspective. I think we got some fun people lined up in the next month. But a classic lineup is always a good lineup.
Absolutely. I love being on.
A power panel, if you will. Let's dive into this one, see what we got. Oh, my goodness. That is juicy and delicious.
Oh, man.
My goodness, that is really good.
Oh, yeah. Juicy up front and hoppy on the back end.
Oh, man. That is very, very good.
I like that.
That is better than I thought it would be. Holy
shit.
shit.
I expected a little more bitter.
Yeah, that is very, very sweet up front. And
yeah.
The bitterness just hits you in the
definitely
back.
it just rests in the back once you just let it sit there for a second. That is tasty. I like that a lot.
Very hazy.
Very hazy.
I've even got some sediment in mine, it looks like. But good God.
I'm not afraid of a little sediment.
Not at all. Not at all.
Say we're sitting at 8%.
That's not bad. It's a double IPA.
Yep. You gotta think what's the other 8% one? The Crystal Vision.
Yeah.
I definitely like this better than the Crystal Vision.
Yes, absolutely.
Very much.
Hopefully, and maybe something tells me they said this is going to be one of the ones they release.
Seeing as how it's not a Nugget series, it's not any part of the series, that does make sense.
I would buy more of this.
Absolutely.
I would buy more of this. This is a very, very good beer. Smells like a double IPA.
Man, that just sits so well. I really like this one.
Me too. This is very tasty.
I could drink it way too fast and be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially
sometimes when it's just 2 or 3 people on the show, though, you kind of got to drink them fast. You know?
Oh, you do. You do.
Like we couldn't if we just sat here and chilled on this, then this would be a
people
3-hour
would, people would hate listening to us.
They'd be like, "Damn guys, come on, get some direction."
People would hate listening to us at that point.
Yeah, we've got a couple of fun ideas for maybe something we could do more long form. For live streaming, we've just been doing typical kind of plain Jane episodes. But I think we're going to try to do the board game. We've talked about that.
Absolutely.
So we just got one of our mini party games that are on the way. This one's called Hammered Heroes. So we're probably going to find a way to try to live stream us playing that, which I'm sure will be a great time.
Absolutely.
Because it's 3-player minimum and up to 6. So I bet you some Dave Linder's going to be involved.
Oh, yeah.
With that.
Yep. Dave will be involved. I'm sure Zach will be involved.
So it'll be a big...
Austin would love to be involved.
It'll be a big one. That'll be fun.
We also need to do a Drunk Quest.
Yes, absolutely.
Which would honestly be great for a live stream because the cards are fucking massive. The cards are the size of the box, so they're like 6-inch by like 7-inch cards, like maybe like 5-inch by 7-inch cards, but still they're big cards because you could see them while we're playing them and actually be able to read them. So
that'll be fun. We will definitely have to do that soon.
I haven't even played it yet.
No?
I haven't had a chance. Nope.
Where'd
I
you
haven't
get
played it. Midwest Gaming Classics.
Did you?
Yep. We just talked about going to it again this year.
Yeah. I was talking to... So last year we went with our buddy Maddie and Ryan Harris, and we went for one day. We drove up in the morning, got back that night. Maddie said this year they might make it a weekend. They might go for the whole thing. I'm like, well...
It's not that pricey.
I wasn't thinking... I was like, I kind of got my fill last time in one day. I kind of rushed. Like, we were trying to make sure we hit everything.
But you think if we did a weekend, that means we could take a day where we sit down and play board games with people.
Yep.
Because we didn't have time to do that. We did our pinball, we did the arcade, we did our browsing around, we did our shopping.
We didn't want to
wait
for
we wanted to
and
see
stuff.
everything.
But yeah, and the way I was like, I don't know about it, and Maddie's like, well, yeah, it'd be fun to make a weekend of it. I'm like, you know what? It would be fun.
I'm sure
just make a weekend.
I'm sure there's cheap places to stay.
And there's lots of breweries up there.
There really are. We could do a tour of the Miller Brewery.
Yeah, maybe some of the bigger ones.
I think Pabst is there too, aren't they?
I'm not sure where Pabst is.
Is
from.
Pabst Milwaukee? I think it is.
I don't know.
I swear.
Can we get them on
there? I saw Pabst is from Milwaukee.
But yeah, technically they might be doing a 3-day thing. I don't know if I'd go for 3 days. I think they're doing Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But a Saturday, Sunday, or even a Friday, Saturday.
The only thing,
different packages, and there's like entertainment and stuff Saturday night.
I would say I thought there was one place I saw, or one thing I saw where you can, if you buy 2 days, you get the third day for free or something like that.
Okay.
So it might as well be worth it. Or if anything, if they go all 3 days, we could branch off and go do something Friday, do like a brewery tour Friday, because they're not drinkers like us.
Right.
So that would be probably an us thing. So we could find something to do for one of the other days, and then do MGC for the other 2.
That'd be fun. because it was so much fun last year. Just for the one day that we were trying to blast through everything.
We went almost strictly for the pinball.
Yeah, there was tons and tons of pinball, and then we were like, wait a minute, this isn't just a pinball thing, because that was the big attraction. It's one of the biggest pinball
300
expos.
pinball machines or something stupid.
Insane. It had so many pinball machines, and all of them were on free play. It was a release party for the Iron Maiden machines, so they had like 15 of those. So we got to play that a little before everyone else.
I think there was like 20 plus.
Yeah,
because I remember we stood there and watched the one guy play like 3 balls, and we're like, "Oh, this is great! And we turn around and we see 20 more of them.
Yeah,
we're like,
we were waiting.
Okay,
for it's like it'll be worth waiting for
this
guy.
dude's sitting here looking at us like, "Why are these guys watching me?" Like,
yeah, then we turn around. Yeah, now that you're saying that, there were like 3 different like
stations of 5.
Stations. Yeah, so
there's like 4 different.
Yeah. But then just everything else, every single pinball machine you could ever imagine.
Yep.
There's a bunch of weird different little games too. I remember. And they had like the history of video games. They had like where you could walk through and see the very first systems. And
they had table after table.
What do you think? Like Atari, Nintendo, Sega? It's like, no, dude. There's decades more of shit that I don't even have any idea about.
You'd walk past tables and they'd have each console set up on a TV, and you can just sit down and play them. They have certain games you can play, and it was really fun. So yeah, we could definitely make a day out of it, because if we stayed in one place and just really focused on doing a couple things each day instead of just flying through.
Yeah, because there was a whole section of people like playing games in development.
Yeah, yep.
And we played a couple games that were still like in development. Those were a lot of fun. Well,
I'm ready for April.
I'm very ready for April too. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a thing that happens. I'm going to MagFest this year with Colby.
Are you?
I'm pretty excited.
Nice.
He's going to D.C. for second time. But, yeah, it's going to be sweet. I think it's kind of like the same thing. It's like a video game, pop culture kind of thing. So we'll see. I'm excited for it.
I mean, honestly, like I would just be excited to go to anything like this. Any con or fest like that. Like, there's going to be something I'm going to enjoy doing.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
I love video games. I love board games, pinball, arcade, whatever it is. I'm going to have fun. You know?
And there's so many things. There's just so many things. We're getting, well, by the time this airs, we'll have already been to the Corn Maze Festival. That's a big one.
Yes.
I'm getting ready to, actually, it might be the day this airs. I'm going to something in Plainfield called Hoppy Halloween.
Oh.
That's the event that Brewlink is releasing their s'mores beer.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to be pouring for Taze, but I might be able to get you a pass if you want to go.
Ooh.
Because
I could get it off if that's the case.
Because my band already has a show in Indy that night.
So you're going to...
I'll go there, and I'll just be like, someone come pick me up here, because Plainfield's pretty close to Indy. And, yeah, so I'll get to try some good beers.
Nice.
And then go play a show.
That's what's up.
And you can just come to the show with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's great. It's
of course.
house. It's not a house party, but it's a private event, and we're gonna do half of our set and then half of our System of a Down cover set.
Nice.
So, and they're having like a chili cook-off, like a chili off. So
holy shit! Yeah. All right, I will be writing this down on a piece of paper and turning it in tomorrow.
Yeah,
it's work.
It's gonna be fun. Yeah, that's one of our drummer Danis. That's one of his buddies. He's like, yeah, he'll treat us great. And it's not like a public event, so it'll be an insulated kind of thing. I'm like,
that's pretty sweet.
That sounds fun. Not a typical house party.
We're used to the
sweaty in the basement.
Sweaty basement, random people showing up because they saw a Facebook page. And meet new friends. That'll be fun though, man.
Yeah,
that'll be awesome. I'm definitely down for that. I'm definitely down with this beer.
Me too. It's fantastic.
I'm almost sad. I'm sad it's almost gone.
Yeah, we talked about nursing it, and we did a pretty good job of doing so.
Yep.
We got going quick though. We got in on this beer within the first minute or so. We also drank right before the episode. We drank the pineapple cherry slushy from 450 North.
We had to pregame a little.
I just saw it and I was like, dude, this is just juice. Yeah, we drank it and it was just. That's a phenomenal beer right there. I would buy. I'd buy a lot of that too. I wish they would do this kind of. I wish they would do these certain ones all the time.
Well, so there's only so much you can do in the styles that they're doing.
Yeah.
They're gonna run out of fruits that they can add to these slushy beers.
And just pick one and.
So why not start making them like seasonal?
That's true.
Do different flavors, like this fruit's in season for this year, like for this part of the year. This fruit's in season, and just take the best sellers that you have, and even ask our feedback. Like there are so many, like current fans of 450 that go every time that could give their feedback and say, this one at this time of year, this one at this time of the year is what we want to see, and just take popular vote, and then start making them seasonal.
That's a great idea.
Start making your best beers seasonal beers instead of doing every 3 week releases. You know?
Definitely. Which, they're fun. I just wish they didn't do them all the time. I'm
Yeah.
not particularly happy that for the Corn Maze, they're doing a release on Friday.
I know.
It's like, y'all...
I know.
Don't make me drive up there twice.
Well, technically, we don't have to drive to the Corn Maze. Party
That's
bus.
true. And if we went for that release, we could just go get some beer and hit Zwanzig's because they've got their new spot open. Their bigger spot's open.
Nice.
And I want to check that out.
Yeah.
I want to check that out.
Absolutely. Are they releasing 5 cans?
I think so. No, they said biggest release ever, 7.
Right before the beer festival.
Yep, sure. Yep.
That's weird.
It's terrible.
That's really
awful.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, McKinley.
Love you, brother. It's not your decision.
Bad marketing. Like, my biggest thing is, like, the money for it. Like, if you want your people to come and buy your beer, I'm not fucking made of money. Some of these people might be, but...
Oh, that's the thing, is that they're pretty much still selling out of everything every single time. So
at least by the end of the weekend.
They're still killing for the good ones.
Yeah.
If they're releasing 4, they're selling out of 2 of them immediately within an hour or 2. And then, you're right, the rest of them are gone by the weekend's end. So if there's no reason to slow down. We can come up with reasons why, but they're like... Money, boys. Like, yep.
There it is.
I totally understand. But when you look at their wine that they did before, same thing. You know, it's all crazy flavors. They've got so many wine flavors.
But I haven't seen them changing or doing wine releases.
Because they did it for a decade or so, and they figured out what was good, and that's what they stuck with. But
they've done so much that's good.
I bet, because this is what, we just went to their 6-year anniversary. I bet by the
Yep.
time they're a decade old, they're going to have an insane lineup that are seasonal. Like,
yeah,
you can always expect the pineapple one to come out
at this time, and then all right,
because they all have them. Founders, they've got that schedule. You know, when it's this time, this is what's coming out.
How long has Founders been a company though?
30 years.
Does it? Yeah.
Yeah, they've been around a long time.
Damn. I guess I didn't realize that.
No, 20.